You ever notice how life doesn't just hit you, it carves into you, quietly, surgically, like it knows exactly where to cut. People talk about pain like it's random, like it's some accident, a misfortune, a storm that just happened. But you felt something different, something darker, something intentional, because the blows that landed on you didn't feel accidental. They felt designed, planned, measured, like life was studying you before it decided where to strike next. And you kept asking yourself, why me? Those two words that haunt the broken, that echo in every sleepless night, that whisper through the cracks of every scar, why me? You said it on nights when your chest felt too heavy to rise. You said it when you bit your tongue instead of screaming. You said it when you watched people you loved walk away like they never saw your worth. You said it when you felt forgotten, when you felt replaceable, when you felt like life was punishing you for sins you never committed. You laid there staring at the ceiling, listening to your own heartbeat break, thinking maybe you were cursed, thinking maybe you were the problem, thinking maybe you were born with something missing. But listen to me, carefully, quietly, deep in the place where your pain sleeps. Life didn't hurt you by accident. Life hurt you because it was working on you. You're not unlucky. You're being shaped, forged, tempered. There's a truth nobody teaches you growing up. Life doesn't wound you to break you. Life wounds you to build you. Every betrayal, every heartbreak, every silent night where no one checked on you wasn't life destroying you. It was life carving out the weaker version of you, the softer version, the version you were never meant to stay. You think, why me? But life is whispering back, because you're the only one who can survive this. There's a reason the pain hits you harder than others. There's a reason the weight feels heavier on your shoulders. There's a reason your nights feel colder, your silence feels deeper, your scars feel older. It's because you're not breaking, you're being reforged. You're not the victim, you're the metal on the anvil. You're the blade in the fire. You're the weapon being shaped in darkness long before the world ever sees your shine. Life isn't punishing you. Life is preparing you for battles you don't yet know about, for storms you haven't walked through, for enemies you haven't met, for a future version of you that requires a level of strength your old self never had. You feel numb right now, confused, lost, and that's exactly what transformation feels like. The cocoon is tight, dark, silent, not because you're dying, but because something inside you is rearranging, hardening, sharpening, forming the version of you that doesn't run anymore, that doesn't break anymore, that doesn't beg anymore. You're standing in the middle of your own forging fire. You just haven't realized it yet. Every time someone left without explanation, every time you trusted the wrong person, every time your heart shattered quietly in your chest, something inside you was learning how to stop needing permission to be strong. Something inside you was learning how to stand alone without collapsing. Something inside you was learning how to turn silence into armor. Right now, you think you're lost. You think you're falling apart. You think you're fading. But listen, this is the birthplace of the version of you that survives everything. The version of you that rises from graves you were never meant to get out of. The version of you that walks through fire without flinching. The version of you that looks betrayal in the eye and doesn't blink. The version of you that finally understands that life does not break chosen ones, it reforges them. So if you're in pain tonight, if your chest feels heavy, if your mind is a battlefield, if your heart is tired, don't mistake this moment for the end. It's the beginning, the first breath of the warrior you're becoming. Life isn't hurting you, it's preparing you, sharpening you, molding you into someone so unrecognizable that your old self would tremble standing before you. You're not breaking, you're being reforged. And when the rise begins, the world will understand why life chose you to carry this fire. Because kings are not born, they are carved in silence, in pain, in darkness. And when they finally rise, they rise as prophecy. The pain wasn't your enemy, it was your coronation. There's a pattern in life most men never see, a pattern older than kings, older than war, older than pain itself. Life weakens you before it strengthens you. It breaks your grip before it places a sword in your hand. It takes the ground from beneath your feet before teaching you how to walk on fire. It strips you, empties you, hollows you, because only empty vessels can be filled with something greater. Every great warrior you admire, every legend you quote, every king you claim to respect was broken first, crushed, bent, reduced to nothing but bone, breath, and anger, not because life hated them, but because destiny refuses to crown a man whose spirit has never tasted the dirt. A man untouched by darkness is a man untested, and the untested remain harmless. You ever notice how the strongest men don't come from comfort? They come from corners of life nobody volunteers to walk through. They come from silence, from loss, from betrayal so deep it rewired their thoughts. From nights where sleep refused to come, and reality felt heavy enough to break the spine of the average man. Pain rewires you. It forces your mind to confront truths you spent years running from. Loss sobers you. It strips illusions, burns fantasies, and forces you to see people for who they truly are, not who you wanted them to be. And betrayal sharpens you. It cuts away your softness, slices your naivety, leaves only the raw steel behind. That steel becomes your discernment, your instinct, your cold clarity, your refusal to kneel ever again. Understand this: the strongest men didn't choose the darkness chose them, claimed them, pressed its hand against their spine and whispered, "Stand up or die here." And they stood, broken, yes, bleeding, yes, but standing. There's a reason kings walk differently, speak differently, see differently. They know the price of their own rebirth. They know what it took to build the monster inside them. They know what silence did. Because silence, that's the weapon no one respects, the one no one sees coming. Weak men fear silence because silence reveals them. Strong men seek it because silence reveals truth. Isolation breaks the weak, but it awakens a sleeping king. It strips away the noise of the world and forces you to face the one enemy you can never outrun: yourself. And if you can face him, if you can withstand the version of you that carries your regret, your guilt, your failures, your shame, then no man outside of you will ever have the power to shake you again. Silence is not loneliness. Silence is training. Silence is alignment. Silence is strategy. It's the place where your emotions burn out and your mind takes the throne. It's where the boy dies and the warrior is carved from his ashes. Most people suffer because they believe pain is punishment. They think life is cruel, unfair, random. They think the fire was built to destroy them. They never realize the fire was built to prepare them. Warriors see differently. Warriors walk into the furnace willingly. Not because they love suffering, but because they recognize the smell of transformation. The weak drown in their wounds. The strong watch their wounds and ask one question: what is this pain turning me into? You can feel it, can't you? Deep in your chest. That cold shift. That flicker of something old, something buried, something rising. It's the understanding that you are not being punished. You're being summoned. summoned to rise, summoned to change, summoned to remove the version of you that was never meant to survive the path ahead. Your pain isn't random. It's not coincidence. It's not misfortune. It's a signal, a message, a call written in the oldest language known to man, suffering. You think the darkness you're in right now is a setback. But listen to me carefully. Darkness is never a setback for men like you. It's the initiation, the threshold, the gate every warrior must walk through before he becomes dangerous. Life weakens you so you can learn how to build yourself. Life isolates you so you can learn who you are without anyone. Life wounds you so you can learn how to carry a sword without trembling. You're not broken. You're not failing. You're not lost. You are being shaped. You are being trained. You are being refined in the shadows before the storm that belongs to you. And deep down, you already know it. This pain isn't your enemy. It's your summons. The world is calling for a version of you that you haven't met yet. A version that doesn't kneel, doesn't beg, doesn't shatter. A version of you that remembers silence not as punishment, but as preparation. A warrior isn't born in daylight. He is born here in the dark, alone, unseen, unapplauded, uncrowned, until the moment he walks out and the world realizes the shadow they ignored has become the storm they fear. There comes a day in every man's life when the world flips its mask. When life stops pretending to be your friend and shows you its teeth. A day when you look around and realize the battlefield isn't out there, it's inside your home, inside your circle, inside your own chest. A day when life feels like the enemy. You know the day I'm talking about. The day someone you trusted broke you clean in half. The day someone you loved walked away like your presence meant nothing. The day you lost something you weren't ready to let go of. The day life reached into you and pulled out a piece you'll never get back. That day changes a man. It kills something soft inside him. It lights something dark beneath him. It twists innocence into instinct. It turns warmth into warning. People tell you betrayal is normal, but they never talk about the night it happens. The exact moment you look into someone's eyes and realize they were never really yours. The moment you feel the floor drop out from under the life you thought you understood. They don't talk about the way your breath slows, the way your heartbeat shakes, the way your soul feels like it's falling through its own ribs, the way the silence starts screaming in your skull because the truth hit you harder any fist ever could. This is the moment solitude is forged. People leave, friends fade, lovers replace you, family doubts you. Suddenly, every person you thought was permanent reveals they were temporary. Everyone you thought was loyal shows they were only convenient. Everyone you thought was safe proves they were only pretending. And you stand there alone, staring at the ruins of a life you didn't know was collapsing. It feels personal, because it is. Betrayal always feels personal. Because it always hits where you are unguarded. It always strikes where you are soft. It always aims where you still believe in people. And in one moment, with one lie, one silence, one goodbye, the old you dies. Not because you wanted him gone, but because he was too unprepared to survive. Pain alters identity. It shifts the shape of who you are. It removes the boyish illusions you carried. It burns away the hope that everyone means well. It kills the naive part of you that believed people wouldn't hurt you just because you never planned to hurt them. Loss changes the architecture of the mind. The man who trusted easily becomes the man who observes silently. The man who loved hard becomes the man who chooses carefully. The man who gave chances becomes the man who demands truth. The old self screams while it dies. The new self is born in silence. And that silence, that is where the dangerous version of you emerges. The man who stops explaining, because no one listened anyway. The man who stops defending himself, because truth doesn't need witnesses. The man who stops expecting, because expectations are just invitations for disappointment. This is the man who becomes quiet, not out of weakness, out of evolution. This is the man who rises with cold eyes, not because he hates the world, but because he finally sees it clearly. This is the man who learns that solitude isn't punishment, it's protection. This is the man who understands that betrayal didn't break him. It introduced him to the version of himself he should have been all along. A version carved from pain, a version sharpened by loss, a version reinforced by silence. A version that trusts God more than people, trusts instinct more than promises, trusts actions more than words. A version that doesn't warn anyone anymore. He simply walks away and lets absence speak the truth. And this is the part the world never sees coming. They think betrayal destroys you. They think heartbreak ends you. They think losing people collapses you. They think silence means surrender. What they don't know is that this is the moment you stop being breakable. Because betrayal doesn't end warriors. It awakens them. It strips away their softness and reveals the iron beneath. This is the moment people think you're finished, but you're only beginning. This is the chapter they mistake for your fall, but it's the birthplace of your rise. This is the moment they assume you're crawling, but you're learning how to stand alone. And when a man learns to stand alone, he becomes a storm the world can no longer contain. This was the day life turned on you, but it was also the day destiny turned toward you. The death of your old self was the coronation of your new one. There's a truth life hides from most men. A truth you only discover when everything inside you has collapsed. A truth whispered in the aftermath of heartbreak, betrayal, abandonment. Pain doesn't destroy you. Pain upgrades you. It rewrites the system. It clears out illusions. It forces new code into a broken mind. And the man who once begged for comfort is replaced with one who demands clarity. Pain gives you new thinking. Thinking that cuts deeper. Thinking that sees faster. Thinking that no longer falls for the same smiles, the same voices, the same empty promises. Pain gives you new boundaries. You don't tolerate disrespect now. You don't chase unreciprocated energy. You don't explain yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. Pain gives you new instincts. Your gut becomes sharp. Your eyes become colder. Your soul becomes selective. You don't let everyone in anymore, not because you're guarded, but because you finally understand the value of your peace. This is the hidden truth. Pain doesn't upgrade your life, it upgrades you. And the upgrade always begins in silence. There are phases in a man's life where he disappears, not because he's lost, but because he's rebuilding, reconstructing, reinforcing. These are the silent phases. The weeks, months, sometimes years, where you feel like a ghost drifting through your own life. You stop explaining, you stop justifying, you stop wanting to be seen. And the world assumes you're fading, but you're not fading. You're forming. You start spending time alone. Longer nights, quieter days. Conversations become shorter. Thoughts become heavier. People ask if you're okay, but how do you explain you're fighting a war inside your skull? How do you tell them you're tearing down an entire identity brick by brick so you can build something stronger in its place? They'll never understand the lonely gym sessions. The nights where you walk into the weight room carrying heartbreak in your chest and leave carrying discipline in your spine. They don't see the sweat that's mixed with frustration, anger, confusion, betrayal. They don't see the reps you push just to silence the thoughts that won't shut up. They don't see the man who screams internally and grows externally. They don't see the late-night battles in your head, the ones you never talk about. The ones where you question everything you're worth, your direction, your future, your purpose. They don't see the nights you lie in the dark, staring at the ceiling, asking God to give you one reason not to break apart completely. But here's the truth. These invisible battles are where warriors are forged. Not in the spotlight, not in applause, not in moments where everyone is watching. Men become warriors in dark rooms where no one is watching. Your identity isn't rewritten at your highest moments. It's rewritten in solitude, in silence, in the void, when everything you used to be starts melting away. When the old version of you tries to cling to life, when your heart aches, your mind shakes, your soul splits open, and the boy inside you dies quietly. This is where reconstruction begins. You stop chasing people, you start chasing destiny. Something shifts inside you, a small, silent click, a realization that validation does nothing but weaken your spine. A realization that attention from the wrong people is poison disguised as warmth. A realization that you don't need them. You never did. You replace validation with discipline. You start showing up for yourself. You start making decisions based on future self, not temporary emotion. You replace heartbreak with ambition. You take the pain they gave you and you turn it into hunger. Hunger to evolve, hunger to rise, hunger to become untouchable. You stop asking, why did they leave? And start asking, what version of me will never be abandoned again? You stop asking, why did they betray me? And start asking, how can I build a life so strong no betrayal can shake me? You stop asking, why did this happen to me? And start declaring, this happened for me. You begin to see that every scar is a blueprint, every wound is a map, every heartbreak is a command to rise, a command to grow, a command to transform into the man your old self wasn't ready to meet. Slowly, you start understanding the architect behind your suffering. Life wasn't trying to break you. Life was trying to build capacity in you. Capacity for strength, capacity for resilience, capacity for solitude, capacity for greatness. Your future wasn't calling for the old version of you. It was calling for this one, this sharpened one, this grounded one, this unshakable one. And every moment in the dark was the chiseling. Everything you lost was clearing space. Everything that hurt was carving definition. Everything that left was making room for the man you were becoming. Everything that made you kneel is now the reason you stand taller. Your mind strengthens. Your heart hardens not into stone, but into armor. Your spirit stabilizes. Your vision sharpens. Your hunger deepens. Your patience lengthens. And suddenly, you're not the same man anymore. You don't react the way you used to. You don't break the way you used to. You don't cling the way you used to. You don't fear the way you used to, because the man who walked into the darkness is not the man walking out of it. This is the beginning of the rise. The moment the transformation becomes visible, the moment the fire inside you starts, turning everything it touches into fuel. Fuel for revenge, not against people, but against your own weakness. Fuel for purpose, fuel for legacy. You realize the world didn't hurt you to make you bitter. It hurt you to make you better, sharper, colder, wiser. Life didn't put you in the dark to punish you. It put you there to prepare you. And now, as you step out of that silence, as you step out of isolation, as you step out of the rubble of your past, you carry a fire that cannot be extinguished. Everything that hurt you has become fuel. Everything that broke you has become armor. Everything that tried to end you has become the reason you rise. This is where broken men are reforged. This is where boys die and warriors emerge. This is where your silence becomes strategy and your pain becomes prophecy. This is where you stop being human and start becoming inevitable.